Hey, I wanted to use this video just to give you a bit of a backstory on how the heck I got into crowdfunding. And if you want to find out more, go to my website, the About Me page, and you can find out all about my history. So, my name is Khierstyn. I'm the host of the Crowdfunding and E-commerce show and podcast. And to date, I have helped project creators in the last year raise over $1 million using Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And those are just the public campaigns that I have managed. So you can go to crowdfundinguncut.com for more information. But yeah, this is a chance where I just get to tell y'all all about me. I'm 29, live in Toronto. I am Canadian. So if you come across any of my Canadian isms, please point them out because apparently I sound American. But anywho, I got into crowdfunding when I was just actually backtrack a little bit. I love traveling. I was inspired to go online and learn how I can make money online and work from anywhere in the world after a friend gave me the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And ever since then, I wanted to travel. I'd spent a good chunk of time in Australia, doing the digital nomad thing in Thailand and Vietnam and traveling around. And I've also, I lived in London, England for about a year and a half, which was amazing time. And London is where I decided that I had to commit to being an entrepreneur. I got involved working with this incredible startup. The pay was great. The team was amazing. But I realized I needed to I needed to work at my own pace. As an entrepreneur, I hate having to wake up and be expected to go to an office to work 9 to 5. And I was on the sales team. Of course, I love sales. So about 6 weeks in, I was one of their top salespeople of a team of 5, and I got bored. And the team wanted us to take a little more initiative, and so I wanted to put myself forward because my experience in the past lifetime was I was a sales trainer and startup advisor. Like I taught young entrepreneurs how to get basic marketing and sales skills, and so I ended up heading over $3.5 million worth of work. That was all revenue driven, and so I thought that, hey, maybe in this startup in London, this could be my thing. I can be head of their sales and write systems and onboard new staff. And it just, the conversation I had with the COO at that point was, yeah, we'd love that, but we need to see you prove yourself a little bit more. Over maybe 6 months we can have this conversation. And I knew at that point that I know you probably keep looking at this. I cycle here in Toronto, and I just fell on some streetcar or tram tracks. Messy, but I'm fine. I just didn't want you to see like a gaping hole in my elbow with it. But back to that. Anyways, the COO and I had different plans for a timeline, and because I moved so fast, I think I moved too quickly for corporate, and so I knew I needed an exit plan as soon as possible. So I ended up going to a couple of entrepreneur networking events and speaking to people locally to find out what they were doing. And anyways, long story short, I ended up quitting my job with some money in the bank, no plan, looking at what skills I had that were transferable. And eventually it took me about 2 or 3 months before I started to do freelance consulting. And the freelance consulting was nothing glamorous. I think I was a glorified sales trainer. I was working with small startups to help them get more customers, which, as you'll know, is very, very vague. And you'll see in future lessons, don't be vague, be niche. But anyways, long story short, a year and a half goes by, and I eventually moved back to Toronto from London. And it took about a month before I started working with another client here in Toronto. And this client had this amazing product idea called Thin Ice Weight Loss. And it's a vest that's wearable technology that helps you lose weight through cold temperature thermogenesis. And he's the guy that has this idea, and I'm usually the operations one. I know how to take a big idea and systemize and just figure out a plan of attack for how we can launch it or do whatever the founder's trying to do. And I knew the online space a little bit, so we partnered up on a launch because he wanted to attempt a Kickstarter campaign. At that point, we ended up launching on Indiegogo. But so yeah, we partnered up, and he wanted to launch the idea on Kickstarter to raise money to manufacture this thing. And the very like within first couple of days, we knew the campaign would tank because we ended up launching, and we raised about $1,000 that first day out of a $50,000 goal. The campaign went on to still fail. We raised $17,000 out of a $50,000 goal, which to some people that's a big success, but considering crowdfunding is goal-based, where we couldn't do anything if we didn't raise $50,000, we were dead in the water with 17 grand. So it failed, and it failed for multiple reasons. That's where I'm leading you with everything, but the main one is that we did not have an audience to launch to. The only people we really had were friends and family, and we just didn't raise enough that first day to get momentum and get that moving. So that, along with a host of other issues, and if you want the actual play-by-play of what we did wrong and what we learned, send me an email, k@crowdfundinguncut.com. Happy to share that with you. But anyways, first campaign failed, and it really sucked because it was a public humiliation. And needless to say, we couldn't do anything with 17 grand. So we ended up having to relaunch the campaign because at this point, no angel investor would have invested in something where there's not proof that people want it. And we didn't really do a good job the first time showing people that this was a validated idea. So we ended up relaunching the campaign 2 months later, and we fixed everything we screwed up, and we ended up coming back and raising about $600,000 with it. And at this point, a lot of people can see, because crowdfunding is a public thing, you can see online, and a lot of our friends and family just kind of heard that we took a campaign from $17,000 failure to $600,000. What happened? And that's where I got requests to speak about our story, about what we did differently, because crowdfunding, as you know, is a pretty hot topic, raising money to raise inventions and launch businesses online. And people started like asking me, and eventually a couple people wanted to hire me to manage their campaign, and I still wasn't sold on this crowdfunding thing, but then all it takes is an amazing product. And I ended up working with another awesome startup a few months later called TapLock, and it's a fingerprint padlock. It's so cool. I have a weakness for tech, I think. It's because my whole family is engineers, and I'm the one who can barely pass physics. So I'm getting the best of the engineering world with like the wearable tech, but marketing side, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, you'll notice I love to go on these tangents. And so TapLock was campaign number 2. Ended up launching that with an amazing team. We raised over $200,000 that first time. And the third time around, I got involved with Manish Sethi, who is the founder of Pavlok. If you're not familiar with this, it's a behavioral modification wearable that helps you break bad habits. So just another amazing thing. And we launched a smaller product called the Shock Clock with them and did about $300,000 that time around. And so in total, I've helped project creators in the last year raise over $1 million online. And it's at that point where, yes, I have the success behind me, but it's also something I love to do. Crowdfunding it's really like the stakes are high. You kind of have to perform or else everyone sees it fail. And I do a lot of work consulting crowdfunding campaigns offline. I don't only manage them because frankly I'm just one person, but so what I want to do now that I'm kind of becoming a focal point online for crowdfunding tips, I get a lot of people emailing me with their campaigns, asking me questions about why it's failing, or maybe they have been listening to the podcast for a while and they hear me preach that you've got to build an audience before you launch, and they'll ask me questions about what exactly they can do to build an audience. And that's really the reason I wanted this show on YouTube. I'm developing my own content library for the consulting and questions that I get all the time. I wanted to make this public for you guys. So I'm just really excited. I don't want to give you my entire 29-year existence, but if you want to find out more, just connect with me. And I hope that I've given you the relevant information, but join our email list. If you go to crowdfundinguncut.com, you're not only going to get notified when new videos and tips come up, but you're also going to get exclusive offers and a chance to talk to me directly. And not to mention, we have a freebie. So the freebie is how you 5 tips you can use to build your audience before you launch, and it's all on the website. But yeah, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. I'm just so excited to grow with you guys, and take care.